Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to see the ventricles of the brain. In that we will see the lateral ventricle in detail. In the previous video we have seen the ventricles of brain, how they are organized and how they are communicated with each other, and we have already seen the details of the third ventricle. So today we are going to focus on the lateral ventricle, and we will discuss about the lateral ventricle under the following headings. First we will see the introduction, the parts of the lateral ventricle and the relations of each part of the lateral ventricle. So before going to that, let us revise what are ventricles. These are series of communicating cavities within the central nervous system that are lined by the ependymal cells, which are concerned with the production, containment and circulation of the cerebrospinal fluid throughout the central nervous system. So you have seen the ventricles, the different ventricles, the median, single, third ventricle and C-shaped lateral ventricles in each cerebral hemisphere, and fourth ventricle, and lastly terminal ventricle. So you can see here, you can see the pair of lateral ventricles there, one in each cerebral hemisphere, and a median third ventricle in yellow color, and in the purple color you are seeing the fourth ventricle. So these all ventricles of the brain are communicated with each other, and also they communicate with the ventricle of the spinal cord, that is also called as terminal ventricle or fifth ventricle. So we have seen that what are the different ventricles: third ventricle, pair of lateral ventricles, a fourth ventricle and a terminal ventricle, also known as ventricles of Krauss, and all are connected in series by communication for the circulation of CSF. And when you see the left lateral view of the entire ventricular system here in the brain, you are seeing a C-shaped lateral ventricle, a median third ventricle and a fourth ventricle between the brainstem and cerebellum. So, and these ventricles contain the choroid plexus. It is nothing but a vascular plexus covered by pyometer and lined by ependymal cells, concerned with the production of CSF, and these ventricles are concerned with the circulation of CSF, which is produced by choroid plexus within them. Coming to the lateral ventricle, so as I already told you, it is roughly C-shaped. It is a roughly C-shaped cavity lined by ependyma and filled with CSF and present in each cerebral hemispheres. So there are two lateral ventricles. You can see the roughly C-shape there, and lateral ventricles of the cerebral hemisphere, they are separated from each other by the septum pellucidum, and they communicate with the third ventricle via interventricular foramen of Monro. You can see there, that is the interventricular foramen of Monro. And coming to the presenting parts of the lateral ventricle, what it presents. See, a lateral ventricle is present in each cerebral hemisphere, and it has different parts located in the different lobes of cerebral hemispheres. Let us see. It presents a body or a central part, anterior horn, posterior horn, inferior horn, and atrium. Atrium is at the junction between the posterior horn and inferior horn. We will see that. So that is the anterior horn, and that is the extent of the anterior horn. And next you have see the body or central part, that is the extent. Then posterior horn is shortest, and the inferior horn is the longest. And here is the atrium, that is the junction between the posterior horn and inferior horn in each lateral ventricle. So when you see the lateral ventricle here from the left lateral view, you will see the different parts. That is the anterior horn, also known as frontal horn, as it is located in the frontal lobe. That is the posterior horn, also known as occipital horn, because it is located in the occipital lobe, and inferior horn, also known as the temporal horn, as it is located in the temporal lobe. And you can see the central part of the body, it is located in the parietal lobe, and you will see the junction there called as atrium between the occipital horn and the temporal horn. And as I already told you, the different parts of the lateral ventricle are located in the different lobes of cerebral hemisphere. So anterior horn is lying in the frontal lobe, you can see there, and body lies in the parietal lobe. Posterior horn is in the occipital lobe. Inferior horn lies in the temporal lobe. So the anterior horn is also called as frontal horn because it is located in the frontal lobe, that is the anterior horn. And you can see the body, it is in the parietal lobe, and posterior horn is in the occipital lobe, and inferior horn is in the temporal lobe. So these are the different parts of lateral ventricle lying in the different parts of the cerebral hemisphere. And here if you see in this animated model here, if you see from the left lateral view, we are going to remove the left cerebral hemisphere here. You can see here, you can see the C-shaped cavity there, that is the lateral ventricle, you can see. And you can notice there, it is surrounded by corpus callosum there, and it is surrounding the caudate nucleus. And when you isolate them, you can see here the entire ventricular system of the brain. You can see pair of C-shaped lateral ventricles, a median third ventricle, and a tent-shaped fourth ventricle in the brainstem. You can see how these pair of lateral ventricles communicate with the third ventricle via interventricular foramina of Monro there. So the CSF produced in the lateral ventricle reaches the third ventricle, that is the anterior horn, body, posterior horn, atrium, and this is the inferior horn. So these are the different parts of the lateral ventricle. Again, if you see, that is the anterior horn, body, posterior horn, and inferior horn. So it presents a body and 3 horn. When you see the anterior horn, it is present in the frontal lobe. It's also called as frontal horn. Body is in the parietal lobe, and the posterior horn, or also called as occipital horn, is in the occipital lobe, and inferior horn lies in the temporal lobe. That's why it's called as a temporal horn. And when you see the lateral ventricle, it is surrounding the caudate nucleus there, head, body and tail of the caudate nucleus, and you can see the putamen there, corpus striatum, and forming the floor of the body of the lateral ventricle is the thalamus, you can see. So you can just summarize, the lateral ventricle is surrounded by corpus callosum, and it is surrounding the caudate nucleus and thalamus, and below here in the temporal lobe you can see the hippocampus there, and amygdala, you can see amygdala, hippocampus and their communications, and that is thalamus there, you are noticing. So these are the structures it is surrounding and surrounded by. That will give you the idea about the relations of the lateral ventricle. You can again notice, that is the caudate nucleus, that is the fornix, column of the fornix and body of the fornix, and you can see the corpus callosum there. And if you isolate these structures, you will have the idea. So it is surrounded by which structures and all. That will help you to understand the relations in detail. You can see the different parts of the lateral ventricle, how it is there. If you isolate and see them, you can see, yes, this is how you can see here. The lateral ventricle is surrounded by the corpus callosum, and it itself surrounds the caudate nucleus, thalamus and fornix. So corpus callosum forms the roof of the most of the parts of the lateral ventricle, whereas thalamus, fornix and caudate nucleus form the floor of the most of the parts of the lateral ventricle. That you should remember. And you can see the hippocampus lies in the floor of the inferior horn, You can notice there. Thalamus is also there in the floor of the lateral ventricle. Again we will see the different parts and their different relations, but I am just giving you the entire gist of the relations here, so that you should be oriented to the relations that we discuss. You can see there, caudate nucleus, this is fornix, column of the fornix, and that is thalamus, what you are seeing. And you can see the amygdala and hippocampus, that is the hippocampus, what you see, and just a node, that is amygdala. They are both belong to limbic system. And these are the different relations of the lateral ventricle. So coming to the anterior horn, we will see the different parts one by one. First we are seeing anterior horn. It is also known as frontal horn. Why? Because it is located in the frontal lobe. You can see that is the anterior horn of the lateral ventricle. It lies in the frontal lobe. It extends downwards, forwards and laterally up to the genu of the corpus callosum. On coronal section it is triangular. You can see there the anterior horn is here extending into the frontal lobe that you are seeing, and it is surrounded by the corpus callosum there. So you can see the C-shaped corpus callosum. What are the parts here? Rostrum, genu, body and splenium. So it is, the anterior horn is closely related to the anterior parts of the corpus callosum. That is, it is related to the rostrum, genu and the body. Let us see. You can see there. Coming to the relations of the anterior horn, you can see the roof is formed by the body of the corpus callosum there. Roof is formed by the anterior part of the body of the corpus callosum, whereas the floor is formed by the rostrum or superior surface of the rostrum of the corpus callosum. This is the floor. The roof, floor is formed by the rostrum, roof is formed by the body, whereas the anterior wall is formed by the curved part of the genu. So this is the genu forming the anterior wall of the anterior horn, or you can say specifically posterior surface of genu is forming the anterior wall of the anterior horn of lateral ventricle. So you can say, so roof is formed by the body, floor is formed by rostrum, anterior wall is formed by the genu. And you can see the floor, I told you it is roughly triangular. The floor is formed by the medial wall is formed by septum pellucidum, as you can see here. Coming to the anterior horn, you can see the corpus callosum there, that is the corpus callosum. And here in the floor lateral side you have the caudate nucleus, head of the caudate nucleus. So you can see here, if you isolate this region with the relations, so anterior horn is also known as frontal horn, as it lies in the frontal lobe. On coronal section it is triangular. And what are the relations here? Roof, floor, anterior wall and medial wall. The roof is formed by the body of the corpus callosum. Here you can see the roof is formed by the body, anterior wall is formed by the genu, floor is formed by the rostrum, whereas the medial wall is formed by the septum pellucidum. The floor on the lateral side is formed by the head of the caudate nucleus there, you can see. So the floor is formed by rostrum of corpus callosum, but on lateral side is formed by the head of the caudate nucleus. And here in this side you will see the medial wall, If you see, the medial wall is formed by this septum pellucidum, which separates it from the opposite lateral ventricle. I told you the two lateral ventricles are separated by the septum pellucidum. So you can see the relations here again. The roof is formed by the body, anterior wall is formed by the genu, floor is formed by the rostrum, and also the head of the caudate nucleus. So that is about the relations of the anterior horn. Coming to the next part, that is the body of the lateral ventricle. Where it lies? It lies in the parietal lobe, and it extends from the interventricular foramen of Monro to the splenium of the corpus callosum. On coronal section, it is also triangular, has a roof, floor and a medial wall. Floor is slopy, that you will see in the coronal section. You can see there the body will be here, extending from the interventricular foramen of Monro to the splenium of the corpus callosum. This much is the body of the lateral ventricle, and you can see how the body is related to the this much part is the body, and below it is having the caudate nucleus, thalamus and corpus striatum. Fimbriae will be there. You can see the relations here in this coronal section. The roof is formed by the inferior surface of the body of the corpus callosum, whereas medial wall is formed by the septum pellucidum, which separates it from the opposite lateral ventricle. You can see the roof there, formed by corpus callosum, that is the medial wall formed by septum pellucidum, whereas the floor is slopy. You can see floor is slopy and is formed by the following structures from lateral to medial. You can see the body of the caudate nucleus there, and you can see the stria terminalis. This is stria terminalis and thalamostriatum. Stria terminalis is the projection fibers of the amygdaloid body or amygdala. They are the outputs of the amygdala. Then you will see the superior surface of thalamus, choroid plexus, and the fimbriae, or the body of the fornix, that you say, body of the fornix. So these are the structures forming the floor of the body of the lateral ventricle from lateral to medial side: caudate nucleus, stria terminalis, thalamostriatum, superior surface of thalamus, choroid plexus, and the body of the fornix. So these are the 5 structures from lateral to medial, and this floor is slopy, that you can understand here. So if you see here in this view, you can see that is the body of the lateral ventricle, and you can see how it is surrounded by the body of the corpus callosum, and below it has the caudate nucleus there. So you can imagine the relations there. You can see here what are the different parts. So body lies in the parietal lobe, and if you isolate the different parts here, you can see there, that is the corpus callosum surrounding it, and in the floor you are seeing the caudate nucleus, and more medially if you go, you will see the fornix, that is the caudate nucleus there, and that is the fornix there, column of the fornix, projection fibers of the hippocampal formation. Fornix is the continuation of the projection fibers, and that is the thalamus you are seeing there in the floor of the body of the lateral ventricle. So if you isolate these structures, you will get to know the relations. So if you isolate them and see, now you can see how the body of the lateral ventricle is surrounded by the corpus callosum here, and it itself surrounding the, that is the corpus callosum, body of the corpus callosum, forming the roof, whereas the floor is formed by the, you can see here, that is the fornix, the arrow is showing the fornix. And what you see, the collection of nucleus below, this is the putamen, that is the caudate nucleus, and there you are seeing the thalamus. So thalamus, caudate nucleus, fornix, these all are the part of the floor of the body of the lateral ventricle. You can see there, that is the fornix, caudate nucleus, thalamus is there. So these are the different structures forming the, and this is the medial wall, that is you can see here, septum pellucidum. Roof is formed by the body of corpus callosum. So this is about the body of the lateral ventricle. And coming to the posterior horn, also known as occipital horn. Why? It lies in the occipital lobe, you can see there, and it extends backwards and medially up to the variable distance, and on coronal section it is lenticular in shape and consists of a convex surface forming the roof and lateral wall, concave surface forming the floor and medial wall, that you see, you can see here. Here is the posterior horn extending backwards and medially into the occipital lobe. That much is the posterior horn, one of the shortest horns of the lateral ventricle. Longest is inferior horn. You can see here, you can see the extent here. This much is the posterior horn. This you have seen, this is the body, anterior horn, and this one is inferior horn, and this area is called as atrium, the junction zone. And when you see the shape of the posterior horn, it is roughly lenticular. It has a convex surface forming the roof and lateral wall, and a concave surface forming the floor and medial wall that you are seeing there. The lateral wall is formed by the tapetum of corpus callosum and optic radiation, as it is present in the occipital lobe. It is related to this optic radiation, and on the medial side it is related to the fibers of forceps major, the fibers of the corpus callosum, and you can see the calcare avius due to this calcarine sulcus. The calcare avius is due to the calcarine sulcus on the medial surface of the occipital lobe. You can see that. So roof and lateral wall form a continuous convex surface and are related to tapetum and optic radiation, whereas medial and floor form a continuous concave surface and related to two elevations. That is the bulb of the posterior horn formed by the forceps major, and calcare avius formed by the calcarine sulcus. So here if you see, that is the posterior horn located in the occipital lobe, related to the tapetum of the corpus callosum, optic radiation, which form the lateral wall and roof, whereas the floor and medial wall is formed by the calcarine sulcus and the bulb of the posterior horn or forceps major. They are the parts of corpus callosum. So that is the posterior horn. And next, coming to the inferior horn, also known as temporal horn. Why? It is present in the temporal lobe. You can see there, that is the inferior horn. It is the longest horn of the lateral ventricle and lies in the temporal lobe. It extends backwards and laterally around the pulvinar end of thalamus, then runs downwards forwards within temporal lobe parallel to superior temporal sulcus, extending up to 2.5 centimeter behind the temporal pole. So it just lies 2.5 centimeter behind the temporal pole, and it is related to the thalamus and hippocampus and amygdala. We will see in relations. So you can see that is the inferior horn. You can see here how this inferior horn is related. This is the inferior horn, the longest one. You can see the choroid plexus also there. And when you see the coronal section, the inferior horn, it has again, just like the posterior horn, it has a this roof and floor and roof you can see here. This is the inferior horn, and roof is formed by the stria terminalis. This is stria terminalis. It is the projection fibers of the amygdala and tail of caudate nucleus. As I already told you, the lateral ventricle is surrounded by corpus callosum and it surrounds the caudate nucleus. Caudate nucleus has head, body and tail. Head is related to the anterior horn, body is related to the body of the lateral ventricle, whereas the tail of the caudate nucleus is in relation with the inferior horn of the lateral ventricle. That is the tail of caudate nucleus, and a tapetum of corpus callosum, that is forming the roof there. Whereas in the floor, it is related to the four structures coming from lateral to medial. You can see collateral eminence formed by the collateral sulcus. In the posterior horn, you have seen calcar avius formed by the calcarine sulcus. Whereas here you are seeing collateral eminence due to collateral sulcus. Then hippocampus, that is concerned with the spatial memory and part of limbic system. Fimbriae, they are the output fibers of the hippocampus, and choroid plexus that you see here. So that is collateral eminence, hippocampus, fimbriae and choroid plexus. If you see here, you can notice the inferior horn here is in the temporal lobe, and in the floor, in the anterior to the inferior horn, you are seeing the amygdala there. You are seeing this is amygdala and this is hippocampus. And in the roof, you are seeing the caudate nucleus. You can see the head, and this is the tail of the caudate nucleus. And you also see the projection fibers of the amygdala forming the roof of the inferior horn. They continue there. So stria terminalis. So if you isolate these structures here, you can definitely notice here. You can see inferior horn, anterior is related to amygdala. In the floor, it has hippocampus, and in the roof, it has stria terminalis, the fibers of amygdala, and tail of caudate nucleus that is there. So these are the relations of the inferior horn, whereas the atrium is a junction between inferior horn and posterior horn, and it contains choroid plexus. You can notice the relations here. You can see hippocampus will continue as the fornix there. So this is about the inferior horn, and this is in detail about the different parts of the lateral ventricle and the relations. Hope you had a good time and got the concepts of the relations of different parts of lateral ventricle. Thank you for listening, and please mention your comments in the comment box so that I can improve further and I can give you what you need. Thank you very much.